Have you ever lain awake at night thinking about LNER locomotive numbering systems? No? Guess it must be just me then. The LNER was formed in 1923. That means this locomotive we're looking at here, the Robinson 04, which was built in 1911, predates the LNER. Before it was with the LNER, it was with the Great Central Railway. And Robinson was the CME at the Great Central Railway. This locomotive would have had the number 1184 at the GCR. And then when the GCR became part of the LNER, to make things simple, they added 5,000 onto all the GCR numbers. So it became 6184. That sounds pretty easy so far, doesn't it? But the plot thickens. Here is the B12. This was built about 1912 and it would have had the number 1544 when it was with its previous company, the Great Eastern Railway, GER. So the GER had 7,000 added onto the locomotive numbers when those locomotive numbers became part of the LNER in 1923. I'm glad you're following it so far. Sir Nigel Gresley was the Chief Mechanical Engineer at the Great Northern Railway, the GNR, and he came up with this one, which you might have heard of, the Flying Scotsman, the A1 Pacific, 1922, would have had the number 1472. Then the GNR joined the LNER and 3,000 were added onto all the GNR locomotive numbers. It became 4472. Gresley designed the D49 and this one was built about 1934. It had an LNER number 279, but the number you can see here, it received later in the 1946 renumbering, which I've done well not to mention so far, haven't I? But I had to say it sooner or later. Then in 1934 along came the A4, designed by Gresley, of course. Here we can see Mallard, which bears the number 60022. Well, I know what you're going to say. I've seen photographs of Mallard. I've been to the National Railway Museum at York. Mallard carries the number 4468. Well, that was its LNER number before 1946. After 1946, it acquired the number 22. Well, eventually, there's a bit more to that story as well. Another A4 there is Gadwall, number 4469. Now, you will never see Gadwall numbered 23 or 60023 because poor old Gadwall never made it to the end of the Second World War, thanks to some Nazi bombs. Poor Gadwall. The V2 was built in 1936, got its LNER number 4771. But then, in 1946, what happened? The LNER had 6 constituent companies, as well, major companies. There were lots of little minor ones too, but the 6 major ones all had their own numbering systems, which started at 1 and went upwards, obviously. So that's why the LNER came up with this idea in 1923 of adding 3,000 to some and 5,000 to others and 7,000 to others. And that was okay, but locomotives of the same type, such as Express Pacifics, had lots of different numbers all over the place. So the LNER decided we want all our locomotives of the same type numbered similarly. So in 1946 they said, let's do it. Let's scrap all the old numbers and send out some new numbers. How did they do that? Under the 1946 system, all 8 couples freight tender locomotives, of which this is an example, were to be numbered in the range 3,000 to 3,999. So there was absolutely no connection between pre-1946 and post-1946 numbers. Then 6184, for a short time, carried the number 3531. Then in the second phase of the 1946 renumbering, which I've not mentioned up until now, it became number 3680. Then when British Railways took over in 1948, 60,000 was added on, so it became 63680, which is the number it carried for the rest of its career. All 6 coupled passenger and mixed traffic locomotives, tender locomotives, were to be numbered in the range 1,000 to 1,999. And you'll never guess what happened to the B12. It went back to being 1544 again. Well, well, well. The A1, which by 1946 had been modified into an A3, ended up with the number 103, which of course in 1948 became 60103. There was another number in the meantime. Shall we talk about that? Maybe not. I already explained that the D49 had the number 279. Then it was given the number 2760 in 1946, along with all the other 4 coupled passenger tender locomotives, and then British Railways took over and it got 62760. That's our Hunt class D49. Mallard was numbered, in 1946 it was renumbered 601, but then there was some more renumbering and it ended up with the number 22. Don't ask me to explain it for 2 reasons. Number 1, I can't be bothered. Number 2, I don't understand it. All we need to know is 1948 it got the number 60022. Poor Gadwall never got a 1946 or a 1948 number, as I've said. Never mind, Gadwall. You've gone to a better place. Now here's the V2. The V2 fell into the same category as Mallard and Gadwall and the Flying Scotsman, which was express passenger locomotives with tenders. and they were all to be numbered in the range 0 to 999. So 4771 was given the number 800. And in 1948, what did that become? Yes, it became 60800. Here's Impala, a B1 that was built in 1942. And you can see that it's a 6-coupled passenger / mixed traffic tender engine. So it got renumbered into the range 1000 to 1999. And it's got the number 1002. And when British Railways got it, it became 61002. Before it was renumbered, it had the number 8303. But we actually don't need to know that, do we? Let's move on. Road Ear is the only example I've got which is post 1946. So it's got its LNER number here, and in 1948 that would have become 61040. So the story of Road Ear is quite simple. Well, I've talked a lot and yet feel like I haven't really scratched the surface of this subject. For instance, I haven't even mentioned the duplicate lists. Well, that will have to wait for the next video because we've got to run some trains today.